Good morning, welcome to Learn Vietnamese with Phuc. My name is Phuc. Welcome to the very first episode, differentiating Vietnamese accents. Just like English and any other languages, we have different accents in Vietnam, even though we are a very small country. We have northern accent, we have central accent, and we have southern accent. But for example, even in the central region, we have Hue accent and Da Nang accent. And these two accents are very, very different from each other, even though they might use some local words, some similar local words once in a while. So how can you, as an expat, learn to differentiate these accents? And do you need to understand all of the accents to be able to travel anywhere in Vietnam? Do you need to speak all of these accents? Or which accent should you choose to speak? These questions will be answered and discussed in today's episode. So originally, I am from Hue, the ancient capital city of Vietnam. Hue is a very small city, a very peaceful city, and that might explain why our accent is very soft, it's very tender, and sometimes it is pretty flat. Some people say Hue accent is adorable, but some people also say Hue accent is very difficult to understand. For example, if I want to say Tôi tên là Phúc in Hue accent, I would say Tôi tên là Phúc. It sounds very flat, it sounds very soft, and sometimes we don't differentiate between the dấu, the accents. For example, dấu hỏi and dấu ngã will be pronounced exactly in a similar way in Hue accent. When I moved to the south, I switched to a different accent because some people comment that they don't understand what I say.
Nope.
When I speak too fast or when I use local words. But I cannot speak Vietnamese with a southern accent, so I decided to use the northern accent instead. So how can you, as an expat, select which language, which accent to learn? Sometimes it can be like different languages if you speak too fast. In my opinion, it depends on where you stay. If you stay in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam, I suggest that you learn the Hanoi accent. If you stay in Ho Chi Minh City, of course, it goes the same way. You learn the Ho Chi Minh accent. If you stay in Hue, you probably can learn the Hue accent as well. However, it is recommended that you learn the standard Hanoi accent or the standard Ho Chi Minh accent because these accents are heard very often on media channels from either the government or the entertainment industry. You will hear it very often on news outlet, on different channels, but the central accent is not represented very usually on these channels. So that's why people might find it hard to understand central accent from Hue, from Quảng Bình, from Nghệ An, if people from here speak too fast and they use many local words. However, you can still speak Hanoi accent in Ho Chi Minh City, and most people will be able to understand it very well. However, if you choose to speak the northern accent, for example, in Hue, you will be able to make people understand you pretty well. However, you also need comprehension of Hue accent, which means you need to have listening skill in Hue and speaking skill in northern, for example. So to conclude, I suggest that you learn whichever accent you feel most comfortable with, but the most popular accents are Hanoi accent and Ho Chi Minh accent, and you'll be able to use this accent everywhere you go if you speak clearly and not use any local words. And we come to another question. Should you understand all accents in Vietnam? Actually not. Not all Vietnamese even understand all accents in Vietnam. For example, I understand pretty well all accents in Vietnam, whether it be Quảng Nam accent, miền Tây accent, Northern accent, or even Nghệ An accent, or anywhere else. But sometimes I find it hard to understand, let's say, Quảng Ngãi accent, where they speak very fast. I don't understand even 50% of what they say. And my friend in Ho Chi Minh City, they tell me when I talk with my family in Hue, they don't understand a word. Some people don't understand anything. Some people understand just 50%. So even Vietnamese don't understand all accents from Vietnam. That's why as a foreigner, I suggest that you will firstly try to speak and understand the accent that you're learning first, whether it be the northern accent or the southern accent. And then you will just try to listen to different accents in Vietnam, whether in your life or in a news channel, and you'll be able to understand it better and better. I think a very important thing when you learn about accent is that you will also want to try to use some of the distinct words that are only used in that accent, but can still be understood by people from different regions. For example, in the north, you hear they say, morning on fit. The word fit is not used in the south very often, but that also means morning rất ngon. That means this is very delicious. So this will make you use the accent more naturally, and your Vietnamese will be considered very advanced. However, some people will also have mixed accent. For example, many families travel to the south from the north after 1975 in order to build their life here. So some people will have a mixed accent between north and south, and you will be able to hear a very, very unique accent. I have a friend at the company. She moved to Ho Chi Minh City from Hanoi when she was 10. And then she moved back to Hanoi for 4 years. And then she returned to Ho Chi Minh City to work in finance with me in the same company. And her accent is very particular. She has a very mixed accent. Sometimes you hear her speak Southern accent, sometimes you hear her speak Northern accent. And I cannot even tell which accent she is speaking. So, talking about accents, this is a very complicated matter. And in Vietnam, some people say, oh, Hanoi is the standard accent. But some people say Ho Chi Minh is the standard accent. We don't have an answer for that. Let's say in China, whether you were born in Guangdong or in Beijing or in other parts of China, you have to learn the Putonghua, the standard Mandarin Chinese. But in Vietnam, we don't change our accent. We still learn to speak Vietnamese with a Hue accent if you're in Hue, with a Hanoi accent if you're Hanoi, with a Quảng Nam accent if you're in Quảng Nam. We just learn to speak Vietnamese, standard Vietnamese with our accent. So it will depend on you, which accent you want to learn. And it takes time to understand accents in Vietnam because many Vietnamese still struggle to understand other Vietnamese accents. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I wish you all the best for your Vietnamese learning. Please come back to my podcast for more interesting content on how to learn Vietnamese and master Vietnamese quickly and well. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.